This episode is about the rebirth of religious horror. I want to preface the conversation though by saying that religious themed horror films never really went away. So it's always been there. There's going to be religious horror all the time. It's an easy place to start when it comes to horror. It's quite an easy subject to make scary. There's so much room to explore different themes of morality and humanity and biblical themes, etc. So, however, in the past year to 18 months or so, there has been a lot of religious horror films. There's been a bit of a spike in the subgenre, so we're here to talk about those. As we're recording this, we're about 1 week removed from the headline news that Dan Stevens and Al Pacino will star in yet another exorcism themed horror film called The Ritual. So we thought it would be the perfect time to discuss God, the devil, and all the mad shit.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
The Ritual, so not to be confused from that other film called The Ritual, which was out quite a few years ago, which we covered on Monday Night Frights, Danny, didn't we?
Yeah, we sure did.
That's more of a folk horror.
I was going to say no religion, but it's more pagany than Christiany.
But the most recent one is, of course, The Exorcism, starring the great Russell Crowe. We have a full review on our website, which was written by the one and only Mr. Gary McElhaga. It was directed by Joshua John Miller, who's the son of Jason Miller, which is a really interesting sort of tie-in and gives it a little bit more depth to the film as well because of Jason Miller, who played Father Karras in The Exorcist. We're going to go to you, Gary, to talk about this film a little bit more, but the plot of it is that a troubled actor begins to exhibit disruptive behavior while shooting a horror film. His estranged daughter wonders if he's slipping back into his past addictions or if there's something sinister at play. I haven't seen this film. Danny, have you seen it?
Nope.
No. Right, so Gary, you're the only one that's seen it, so we're going to go to you.
Got that one-man review.
You do, yeah. So I do have one of your quotes here. If you want, I can go into the quote
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
I've picked out. So on paper, there's a great idea here, but it kind of fizzles out, not making much sense and seems to give up a little. The film starts off well with an interesting look and feel. The score has a strong presence, which guides the cold opening, a promising first act that drops off significantly as the film gets closer to its final moments. Russell Crowe in genre movies is intriguing, and I think the score work by Danny Bensi and Sonder Urians carries a lot of weight in terms of mood and intensity. So, go ahead.
I kind of the premise of it, I was really like, this is pretty cool, and I was like everybody else thinking it was a tie-in with the Pope's Exorcist. That was the previous one he did, right?
Yep.
But it isn't, and it's it's quite rich, as you say, with the director being, you know, the son of the being star from The Exorcist, and yeah, it kind of starts off like I write about it being like Scream 2, or like, you know, the kind of like you're on the set and it's these big haunted houses, and it starts off really cool with a cold open that is kind of like it's kind of mysterious and everything. But it really just it kind of starts doing a bit more looking at the kind of alcoholism of his character to kind of demonize him, I think. And the kind of the way that it turns out is not great. And also it has from Frasier plays the priest. What's his name? David
Miles, yeah, Miles, the brother, Miles.
Yes. He's in it, which when it comes, you know, not to spoil it, but there's like some kind of, you know, confrontation between Russell Crowe's character and David Hyde Pierce, and it's just like when I was watching it, I was just like, what is this? You know, like it kind of took me out of it a bit too many times. But it was like a big press screening, I think, you know, and there's a lot of turnout for it, and a lot of like the audience is quite lively. You know, they were, you know, kind of hootering and hollering quite through it. So I think maybe they were just going for the kind of playful, you know, trashy horror movie, but it wasn't. It just made me want to watch The Pope's Exorcist, and it made me think about how much I liked The First Omen,